Number 10. The Kingdom of Women and the Mosuo Walking Marriage. Mongolia is one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world, with a population of only about 3 million people and a population density of around 5 people per square mile. Across the vast grasslands, there are areas where you can travel long distances without encountering any significant settlements. This emptiness creates a rare sense of vastness and isolation. In complete contrast is Ulaanbaatar, where most of the country's economic, political, and urban life is concentrated. This contrast makes Mongolia both modern and almost completely untouched and wild. The Mosuo community is known for its highly distinctive family structure. For generations, they have maintained ancient traditions that differ from the conventional marriage model found in much of the world. Most notable is the custom commonly known as walking marriage, a form of relationship in which women hold a central role and have the freedom to choose the partner they want to be with. After the coming-of-age ceremony, Mosuo women can make their own decisions about their romantic lives. They may remain with one partner for a long time, or have several different relationships throughout their lives. There is no rule requiring them to marry or live with the man they choose. Instead of forming a separate household, like a traditional married couple, both usually continue living with their own families. The man may visit the woman at night and return to his home the next morning. What is even more distinctive is the way children are raised. When a child is born, they are primarily raised within the mother's family. The mother, maternal grandmother, sisters, and other members of the maternal family all take part in caring for and raising the child. Meanwhile, the men on the mother's side of the family, especially brothers and uncles, often take on many responsibilities similar to those of a father. They protect the family, care for the children, and help maintain the stability of the entire family. This structure allows the family to function without depending entirely on the presence of a husband or biological father. This was especially important under the harsh living conditions of nomadic communities in the past. Men often had to leave home for long periods to hunt, herd livestock, explore new lands, or carry out dangerous work. In harsh natural environments, accidents and other risks were always present, meaning not every man was able to return home safely. Under these circumstances, women and the maternal family gradually became the most stable foundation of the household. The home, children, and responsibility for caring for different generations were centered around the mother and her blood relatives. As a result, even if a man left or was no longer present in a woman's life, the family structure remained intact. Over generations, this way of organizing family life has become a distinctive part of Mosuo culture. Love does not necessarily mean marriage, and marriage does not necessarily mean living together under the same roof. Women have greater freedom to make their own choices in relationships, while the responsibility of raising children is shared among members of the extended family. This very different view of love, family, and the role of women has made the Mosuo community one of the most distinctive and intriguing societies for those interested in exploring different cultures around the world. Number 9. Strange customs and traces of ancient society. Mongolia is a land where centuries-old customs still leave a clear mark on modern life. One of the most controversial practices that once appeared in some rural areas is bride kidnapping. Under this custom, a man could bring the woman he wanted to marry back to his home and then carry out rituals to make her his wife. In the past, this practice existed as part of life in some isolated communities, where customary law and local traditions had a strong influence on how people formed families. Today, bride kidnapping is no longer permitted by law, and its prevalence has declined significantly. Changes in the legal system, education, and social awareness have made such practices increasingly difficult to maintain in their traditional form. However, in some remote rural areas, traces of these traditional beliefs may still remain. This shows that changing a custom deeply rooted across generations cannot happen in a short period of time. Modern Mongolia, therefore, continues to seek a balance between preserving its cultural identity and eliminating practices that are no longer considered appropriate in today's society. Behind these ancient customs lies a warrior history spanning many centuries. The image of horsemen crossing the steppe, nomadic tribes constantly on the move, and warriors who once built one of the largest empires in history, still holds a special place in Mongolian identity. Strength, the ability to survive in harsh environments, and pride in a warrior past continue to be reflected in many of the country's festivals, sports, and traditions. In Mongolia, history therefore does not exist only in museums or books, but remains present in the way people see themselves. However, modern Mongolia is very different from the society of steppe warriors of the past. The year 1990 marked a major turning point when the country underwent a peaceful revolution, paving the way for the end of decades of communist rule and a transition toward democracy. This was a profound political and social transformation, moving Mongolia into a new era with more modern institutions and ideas. This transformation has created one of the most fascinating aspects of exploring Mongolia. The old and the new exist side by side. In the cities, people live with modern technology, a modern economy, and new social values, but once you leave the urban areas and travel deep into the steppe, gurs, livestock herds, family traditions, and memories of ancestors remain deeply present. Mongolia, therefore, feels like a bridge between two eras, where a modern society continues to develop without ever completely separating itself from the nomadic and warrior past that shaped its identity. Number 8. Shagai, divination, and the spirit world. In traditional Mongolian life, Shagai is a distinctive custom that clearly reflects the connection between people, nature, and the spiritual world. Shagai uses the ankle bones of sheep or goats, animals that have long been closely tied to nomadic life on the steppe. For Mongolians, these small bones are not merely simple objects, but also carry symbolic meaning, and are used in both fortune-telling and traditional folk games. What makes Shagai especially interesting is the unique shape of the bones. When thrown onto the ground, each bone can land on one of 4 different sides. These 4 sides are associated with 4 animals familiar in nomadic life: the sheep, camel, horse, and goat. Each animal represents a different quality. The sheep represents stability and peace. The camel represents endurance and the ability to overcome harsh conditions. The horse represents strength, freedom, and powerful energy. Meanwhile, the goat represents agility and flexibility. From the way the bones land, people can make different interpretations about luck, health, or important decisions in life. For this reason, Shagai was once seen as a form of folk divination that helped people look for signs or guidance before facing the unknown. In an environment where daily life was constantly influenced by weather, the seasons, and the movement of livestock, such beliefs naturally became part of the community's spiritual life. However, Shagai is not limited to the world of belief. These bones are also used in many traditional games, creating a shared form of community activity. Children and adults can play together, making Shagai a familiar source of entertainment within families and during gatherings. It is this combination of divination and play that makes the tradition so distinctive. A small object can be both sacred and part of joyful, everyday moments. Shagai, therefore, clearly reflects the way Mongolians view the world around them. Familiar animals not only provide food, transportation, and materials for daily life, but also enter the spiritual world as symbols with deeper meanings. Nature, belief, and everyday life do not exist separately, but are closely intertwined. Through these small ankle bones, we can see a vivid part of Mongolian nomadic culture, where people have long sought to read the signs of nature, connect with traditional beliefs, and preserve customs that have been passed down through generations. Number 7. The land of the eternal blue sky and shamanism. Mongolia has long been known as the land of the blue sky, a name inspired by the unique climate of this vast country. With around 260 sunny days each year, clear blue skies have become an inseparable part of the steppe landscape. Between grasslands stretching to the horizon, distant mountain ranges, and wide open spaces with almost no visual barriers, the sky seems to dominate the view. This environment has helped shape the way Mongolians perceive nature, spirituality, and humanity's place in the world. In spiritual life, Tibetan Buddhism has had a major influence and has left a deep mark on Mongolian culture. However, alongside Buddhism, many ancient beliefs continue to survive, especially shamanism and Tengrism. These belief systems are closely connected to the sky, the land, mountains, ancestors, and the forces of nature. For many nomadic communities, nature is not only an environment for survival, but also contains sacred powers that must be respected. One of Mongolia's most significant spiritual sites is Burkhan Khaldun Mountain, a place closely associated with stories of Genghis Khan. The mountain is regarded as sacred land and has long held an important place in Mongolian historical memory and spiritual beliefs. The traditions surrounding Burkhan Khaldun show that mountains in Mongolian culture are not merely natural landscapes, but can also become symbols of ancestry, power, and spiritual protection. Shamanism is a distinctive part of this spiritual world. Shamans are regarded as intermediaries between humans and the spirit world. During rituals, they may use repetitive drumming, chanting, and trance-like states in an attempt to communicate with ancestors or the spirits of nature. The atmosphere of these ceremonies is often intense and mysterious, creating the feeling that the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds has temporarily become blurred. For a long time, shamanism declined significantly, especially during the period of communist rule. However, after the major changes the country experienced in the early 1990s, shamanic practices gradually began to reappear. This revival was not only about restoring an ancient belief system, but also reflected a desire to reconnect with parts of Mongolia's cultural identity that had once been interrupted. Interestingly, shamanism today is not limited to ancient concerns. Many rituals have been adapted to fit modern life. People may seek out shamans to pray for good health, career success, solutions to business problems, or guidance in romantic relationships. So, even as Mongolia changes rapidly, the sound of shaman drums continues to echo, connecting the blue sky, the steppe, ancestors, and the very modern needs of everyday life. Number 6. Mongolia's strangest foods and drinks. Mongolian cuisine clearly reflects how people have adapted to a land with a harsh climate, long winters, and a way of life closely tied to livestock herding. In an environment where temperatures can drop extremely low, ingredients have traditionally depended heavily on what nature and livestock can provide. As a result, many Mongolian foods and drinks are prepared in simple but highly distinctive ways, sometimes surprising visitors when they encounter them for the first time. One of the most interesting stories is about a type of ice cream believed to have originated from combining snow with mare's milk. The story says that after a battle in a hot, dry region, Mongolian warriors tried to cool themselves down by mixing fresh snow with mare's milk. This cold mixture gradually became a unique food, reflecting human creativity and making use of ingredients available in nature. Although the story has the character of an oral legend, the image of white snow mixed with mare's milk still vividly reflects the Mongolian people's ability to adapt to a harsh environment. Mare's milk has long been a familiar ingredient in nomadic life. When people had to move with their livestock and live far from stable agricultural areas, dairy products became an important source of nutrition. As a result, using milk to create a variety of foods and drinks became a natural part of the local food culture. Anything that could be preserved, provide energy, and be prepared easily was highly valued. Alongside dairy-based foods, Mongolia is also known for a much more unusual drink made from tomato juice, vinegar, and a sheep's eye. The list of ingredients alone is enough to make many people hesitate. This drink is said to be a traditional hangover remedy, often consumed after festivals or long nights of drinking. The sheep's eye, an ingredient unfamiliar in many other cuisines, appears here as part of a drink believed to help the body recover. The existence of foods like these shows that Mongolians have a very practical view of food. In life on the steppe, nearly every usable part of livestock has value. Food is chosen not only for flavor, but also for its ability to provide energy, help the body withstand the cold, and suit living conditions where a wide variety of ingredients is not always available. That is why Mongolian cuisine may seem unusual to outsiders, but it makes perfect sense in the context of nomadic life. From snow and mare's milk to ingredients few people would expect to find in a drink, everything reflects the ability to make full use of available resources and adapt to nature. This is also what makes Mongolian cuisine such a distinctive part of exploring this vast land of the steppe. Number 5. The Gobi Desert and its prehistoric treasures. The Gobi Desert is one of the most famous and mysterious regions in Asia. Stretching across vast areas of Mongolia, it is filled with dry plains, rocky mountain ranges, remote valleys, and barren landscapes, with almost no signs of life. To many people, the Gobi is simply a harsh desert where strong winds, extreme temperature changes, and scarce water make survival difficult. But hidden beneath this seemingly lifeless ground is one of the world's most important natural records of prehistoric life. For millions of years, the Gobi's dry climate has helped preserve a large number of fossils. As a result, the region has become an important site for paleontologists. Through numerous excavations, many dinosaur fossils have been discovered, helping researchers gradually build a clearer picture of the animals that lived in this region tens of millions of years ago. Skeletons preserved in sediment layers have provided valuable information about the shape, size, and evolution of ancient species. The Gobi is home not only to dinosaur fossils, but also to traces of early mammals. Some fossils dating back tens of millions of years show that small mammals once lived alongside dinosaurs. Discoveries like these are especially important because they help scientists better understand the early stages of mammalian evolution, a group of animals that later became widespread across the Earth. One of the most remarkable discoveries in the Gobi is fossilized dinosaur eggs. Before these discoveries, human understanding of how dinosaurs reproduced was still very limited. The eggs preserved underground open new opportunities to study dinosaur development from the embryonic stage. They have helped scientists learn more about how dinosaurs nested, reproduced, and cared for the next generation, while also providing additional clues about the differences among various species. What makes the Gobi especially remarkable is the contrast between its barren surface and the treasures hidden beneath it. Under the desolate ground lie millions of years of natural history, preserved in fossilized bones and eggs. For this reason, the Gobi is impressive not only for its vastness, but also as one of the most valuable regions for paleontology, where the history of the Earth continues to be uncovered. Number 4. Breathtaking nature and brutal cold. Mongolia is one of the countries with some of the vastest and most untouched landscapes in Asia. The most iconic image of this country is its seemingly endless steppes, where the horizon appears to blend into the blue sky. Across these vast grasslands, herds of horses, sheep, goats, and yaks move with the seasons, creating a rhythm of life that has been closely tied to the Mongolian people for generations. The open space is so immense that in many areas, people can travel very long distances without encountering any major settlement. This vastness and silence create Mongolia's distinctive beauty, but they also reveal just how challenging the environment can be. In the northern part of the country lies Lake Kovsgol, one of Mongolia's most remarkable natural attractions. The lake is known for its clear water, green shores, and surrounding mountain ranges. Compared with the dry landscapes often associated with Mongolia, Kovsgol presents a completely different image: greener, cooler, and more peaceful. Beyond its scenic beauty, the lake area also plays an important role in the natural ecosystem. It serves as a habitat and stopping point for many migratory bird species, especially during their seasonal movements between regions. Alongside its large lakes, Mongolia's river systems also create important habitats across the steppe. The Kurlan River is one of the country's notable rivers, flowing through grasslands and mountainous areas before continuing across vast stretches of land. The river brings water to regions that depend heavily on natural conditions, helping sustain grasslands, livestock herds, and the communities living along its basin. But the beauty of Mongolia's natural landscape always comes with harsh conditions. This is most evident in winter. In the capital, Ulaanbaatar, temperatures can sometimes drop to around -22 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the places with the most severe winters. Under these conditions, staying warm, storing fuel, caring for livestock, and preparing food become essential tasks in daily life. Mongolia's harsh climate also helps explain why its people have long developed a flexible way of life and a strong ability to adapt. Herding communities must move with the seasons, search for new pastures, and choose better sheltered areas when winter arrives. Their homes, food, and way of organizing daily life are all shaped to fit the natural environment. For this reason, Mongolia's natural landscape is more than just a beautiful backdrop. The steppes, lakes, rivers, and freezing winters directly determine how people live. It is this combination of magnificent beauty and harsh conditions that gives Mongolia its unique character, a place where people have learned to live with nature rather than try to control it. Number 3. Genghis Khan and Mongolia's historic symbols. When talking about Mongolia, it is almost impossible not to mention Genghis Khan, a figure who holds a special place in the country's history and national identity. His image is associated not only with the vast conquests of the past, but also with strength, determination, and the warrior spirit that Mongolians continue to take pride in. Even after many centuries, the legacy of Genghis Khan remains visible in monuments, festivals, museums, and the way people tell the story of their history. One of Mongolia's most prominent landmarks is the equestrian statue of Genghis Khan at Sonjin Bulldog near Ulaanbaatar. The steel structure stands about 131 feet tall, rising dramatically above the vast steppe and reflecting his special place in the nation's history. Surrounding the statue is a complex that includes a museum and cultural center, where visitors can learn more about Genghis Khan, Mongolian history, and nomadic life. The site is not only an impressive tourist attraction, but also a symbol of Mongolian pride and historical memory. Mongolia's warrior past still has a strong influence on its culture, reflected in horseback riding, wrestling, and traditional festivals. The image of the horse is especially important because of its close connection to both nomadic life and the country's military history. Genghis Khan, therefore, is not only a figure from the past, but also a part of modern Mongolian identity, symbolizing strength, the spirit of the steppe, and pride in the nation's history. Number 2. Nomadic life inside the traditional gyr. Across Mongolia's vast steppes, nomadic life continues to exist as an important part of the country's national identity. Although cities are expanding and modern life has spread widely, many families still choose to live in gyrs, also known as yurts, traditional homes that have been closely associated with nomadic people for generations. From the outside, a gyr has a simple circular shape, a low roof, and thick layers of felt covering it. But this seemingly modest design is actually the result of centuries of adaptation to a harsh climate and a lifestyle built around frequent movement. The greatest advantage of a gyr is how quickly it can be taken apart and reassembled. When pastures begin to run out or water becomes scarce, an entire family can dismantle the home, load its parts onto transportation, and rebuild it in a new location. Its circular structure helps the gyr withstand strong winds across the steppe, while the thick felt insulation retains heat during winter and keeps the interior more comfortable during warmer months. As a result, the gyr is not only a home, but also a symbol of the adaptability and flexibility of nomadic life. The lives of these families are closely tied to their livestock. Horses, sheep, goats, yaks, and camels all play important roles because they provide nearly everything needed for daily life. Meat and milk are the main sources of food, while wool and hair are used to make clothing, blankets, and insulating materials. Horses and camels have also long played an important role in traveling across great distances. For a nomadic family, the size and health of the herd directly affect its ability to survive harsh seasons. Movement also follows the rhythm of nature. During the warmer months, families often take their livestock to higher pastures, where fresh grass and food are more abundant. When winter arrives, they move back into sheltered valleys or areas with terrain that offers better protection from heavy snow and severe cold. Every move requires experience in observing the weather, pasture quality, and water sources. A typical day on the steppe often begins very early. Some family members leave the gyr to check the livestock, search for missing animals, or move the herd to better grazing areas. Those who remain prepare food, care for young children, repair tools and household items, and maintain the gyr. Every task is connected to the survival needs of the family and its livestock. This rhythm of life is what makes Mongolia so distinctive. Nomadic life is not simply about moving from one place to another, but a system of survival built on experience, adaptation, and the ability to understand nature. In an increasingly modern world, Gurs still stand across the steppe as evidence of a way of life that has existed for generations and continues to shape the image of Mongolia today. Number 1. Festivals, Golden Eagles, and Mongolia's 3 national sports. If you want to experience the spirit of Mongolia most clearly, traditional festivals are where the connection between family, belief, nomadic life, and the country's warrior past is fully expressed. Among them, Tsagan Sar is one of the most important celebrations of the year. It is the Mongolian Lunar New Year, a time when families set aside their daily work to reunite, visit relatives, and welcome the new year together. Large meals are prepared. Younger people show respect to their elders, and traditional rituals help strengthen the bonds between generations within the family. Tsagan Sar is not only a time for food and celebration, it is also a period for remembering ancestors, reflecting on the past, and wishing for peace and good fortune in the new year. In a society that once depended heavily on the seasons, livestock, and weather, entering a new year has always carried special meaning. People hope for healthy animals, favorable pastures, and the strength for their families to endure harsh winters. For this reason, beneath the festive atmosphere lies a deeper meaning centered on family continuity and survival. In the Altai region, another tradition reflects the special relationship between people and nature. Hunting with golden eagles. Hunters train these powerful birds of prey to help catch foxes, rabbits, and other animals across vast terrain. Mastering a golden eagle requires a great deal of time, patience, and experience. The hunter must understand the bird's behavior, build a bond with it, and know how to work with it in a harsh environment. This partnership between human, horse, and eagle has created one of the most iconic images of the Altai Mountains. However, the festival that best represents Mongolia's warrior spirit is Naadam. This major event centers on 3 traditional sports: wrestling, archery, and horse racing. All 3 originated from the survival and combat skills of Mongolians in the past. But today, they have become cultural competitions and festival traditions. Mongolian wrestling is unique because there are no weight classes and no time limits. A wrestler may face an opponent who is much larger, making technique, endurance, and balance extremely important. The winner also performs symbolic movements that represent strength and pride. Archery presents a different image. Both men and women can participate, showing that the sport is not reserved only for men. Accuracy, calmness, and body control are the key factors. It is also a way of preserving skills that were once extremely important in warfare as part of modern life. Horse racing is perhaps the most impressive event. The jockeys are often children who have been accustomed to riding horses from a young age. Unlike short races on conventional tracks, Mongolian horse races take place across open terrain and can extend for up to about 17 miles. This turns the competition into a true test of endurance for both the horse and the rider. Naadam is therefore more than just a sports festival. It is like a miniature portrait of Mongolia, where warrior heritage, nomadic culture, and modern society exist side by side. Centuries-old traditions have not disappeared, but have taken on new forms and continue to be passed down to younger generations. Festivals such as Tsagan Sar and Naadam, together with the image of eagle hunters in the Altai region, have helped Mongolia preserve its distinctive identity in a rapidly changing world.